Uh, you want to know how ancient the earth is? Very, very ancient. The earth is so ancient that it is rumored that once upon a time, a much bigger planet than this, some tales call it Marduk, exploded for certain reasons. And when it exploded, one of the shards of this ginormous planet drifted along space until it was caught by our sun's gravity and then started rotating, gathering mass until it became planet sized once again. And according to this tale, this is the planet Earth, right? And then they basically date this planet to be over 11 billion years old, literally, due to the fact that there are artifacts that are found on land and on sea. These artifacts literally depicting 11 billion years in age when they carbon date them. You see, so basically, this planet is much more ancient than it looks, and also much more mysterious. Realizing this basically also shows how deep our history is with this planet. You know, often we talk about this third eye that allows one to see through time, through space, through all kinds of things in matter and outside of matter in some cases. And this third eye, it turns out, is actually the first eye. It is not third at all. It is the first eye that formed inside the brain when the human being was still a fetus. You know, as he was busy perceiving his situation inside the womb, this first eye became his first eye to see, the eye of the mind, the eye to philosophize, to think, and to wonder. So, this first eye, it turns out, is what we call now the third eye, of course. It's known as the pineal gland inside the brain, just in case you don't know that. But this first eye wasn't even the only eye that would form afterwards, because if it's the first eye, it means that two others will form in our normal circumstances. But once upon a time upon this earth, they used to form more than four eyes on a person's skull. These were visible and material. This one skull that was depicted showed that a person had even eyes upon his chin. He could see out of his chin due to the fact that he had more than six eyes. Now, this whole range of perception comes from the fact that there are skulls found on the earth of these beings that were much older. If you were to hop over to the Vatican, they would tell you all about this theory. No, they would tell you all about this reality of these people that had multiple eyes. Now, going further, these eyes were basically inherited. Some people would inherit them from their grandfather, from their mother. You know, inherit your mother's eyes because the same blood is flowing through her, flowing through me. So let's say our family focuses on observing. Our family is an observant race. Therefore, it has spent millennia observing things. Obviously, by the death of another, the observance has already passed on to the bloodline because fortunately that person was died when they had passed on their genes. So these genes, they still remember through the memory of the blood, since the double helix is actually a library. So since they remember all that they remember, the being that is born from the progeny of these people becomes somebody who actually can see further than see deeper, can see interdimensional realities before they are even apparent to most. This is how the DNA basically grows itself. This is how the DNA basically evolves itself. Back then, in those times, the DNA used to evolve itself in a very, very tangible and visible form. This is why people would grow many eyes. The DNA would specialize itself in many, many versions. This is why some people would grow taller, would grow stronger bones, denser bone structure. All this matter of the DNA is all about progeny being pushed toward in time, being pushed forward in time. Basically, realizing the realness of what it is to be a human being. Human being used to be something that evolved physically, but we were taken down in vibration, a topic we will discuss in another video. We're taken down in vibration, thus resulting that we actually now evolve spiritually. Our bodies no longer show evolution on a physical scale. That's why you won't find people growing 4 eyes anymore. You won't find people growing 6 eyes, born with 6 eyes anymore. But you still do find people with tails, with extra fingers, with certain appendages that are a bit more enhanced to show that the blood that is generated and pumped through these people is actually still valid. But after that, it's a very rare thing to happen, and this rare thing to happen eventually ends up yeah, it ends up just minimalized, as if, oh, we're all the same: two arms, two legs, two eyes, two nose, one, two nostrils, so, but this I say to remind people that the deeper aspects of life actually require us to know further about ourselves. We need to dig deeper in why we are so different, because this difference actually determines how much we know ourselves. So many people are lost in the fray of purpose, living life purposeless, not knowing where to go, only because they don't know who they are or why they are. You see, the individual knows in his intrinsic knowing that he is an individual and he is different than others. But yet, even though he's a different than others, he still wants to fit in. He still wants to fall back into the fray of being just like everybody else. And I come to you to offer that you being just like everybody else is slowing the whole race down. You are literally slowing our whole human experience down. Your inability to evolve is literally holding us all back. You are not doing us a favor by acting normal. No, we don't want that shit. We tired of that shit. How much normal are we gonna get until we get tired of that shit? How many cakes do we have to eat until we realize that they're all sweet? Honestly. Like, for real though. Fuck all this shit about trying to normalize everything. We want you to be weird. We want you to be quirky. Because when you do that shit, we get amused. You know? We actually get amused, and we actually get shaken out of the frame of who we think we are. Now we get into the frame of who you are. We actually start caring about shit outside of ourselves, because we realize now that there's a different world out there and there are more concerns than just trying to fit in to every mold that is out there. Alright? I'm putting this forward because it's very important that we realize that our differences as a society are there to make us better, make each other better. Seeing somebody do something better than you inspires you either to do something better in your own field, or inspires you to actually try and innovate better than that person is innovating. Either way, it advances the species, it makes it more stronger. This way, I am saying Literally, you have to express yourself, because you expressing yourself actually allows us to realize that we are expressing ourselves. Us that are Some of us that are still in our shadow, and still negative in our being and lazy in our purpose, we get that fire now because somebody's doing it. And if we try to ignore you, it's only because we realize that this is reflecting something that we should have realized in ourselves much, much sooner. So please be yourself, because you are helping the evolution of this reality. You are helping the revolution of humanity. Confirmation, bros. Right. So please stop acting normal. It's boring us. We know you're weird. So just come out already. Be weird. We know you are weird. Don't hide yourself that you are weird. Honestly, just be it. Just be it. We are tired of you acting so cool. There's nothing cool here. The sun is like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius, and you are trying to act cool? No, we know it's hot out here, so come on, stop acting cool. And also be who you are, so that we will know how to be who we are. Like a famous inventor, sorry, Steve Jobs started a company in a time where people never knew that they didn't like going to the mall and shopping for things. Back in those times, you had to go up to the mall and buy your things in order to come back, in order to get those things. You know what I'm saying? So now Steve Jobs came up with this place where we don't have to go and buy things physically in the store. Now instead we can just go on our phone, pick out what we like, and have it shipped out to us. No one knew that we wanted this. So by the time he came with his business, nobody really wanted it. Nobody even cared. But luckily, due to his skills of making people care for things they do not care about, we now actually are able to go buy things when we want to go buy things. We actually now have desires that we didn't have before, just because somebody invented something we didn't actually want. If you look at the whole platform of YouTube, nobody wants to sit around. Nobody wanted, past tense, to sit around watching videos of cats, doing some funny dances. But somebody decided, hey, I'm gonna make this platform where people can post cat videos. And all of a sudden, a market for cat loving peoples was drawn near, and cat videos are all the rage, trending even. This is the whole point. Like, nobody even knew that people have opinions that they want to voice to a massive public that wants to hear it. But due to YouTube, we now can. Due to other platforms too, we now can. We can voice opinions that we never knew could voice. So that some opinions are not fit for our friend groups. Some opinions are not fit for our families. So sometimes we have to hold those opinions back due to how we are not exposed to people we can voice them too. But due to somebody thinking, let me invent something that nobody asked for, but I am inclined to do because that is in me intrinsically, we now get to do that. So please, you enabling yourself enables us. So do it. Go. Please write the book, make the app, do the thing. We're itching for it, whether we know it or not.